At the edge of Morningtown, where jam jars glowed in the sun and spoons stood tall in the grass, there was a school called the Academy of Breakfast. Every morning, little breakfasts came there to show what they had made. Toast came with a notebook. Bagel came with a backpack, and Willow Waffle came with her little brown bag, her golden pockets, and a worried face she was trying very hard to hide. Professor Pop taught the class. He was shiny. He was silver. He had little glasses, a smart bow tie, and a pointer he liked to tap on the board. Professor Pop knew many things about breakfast, but he was very sure about one thing. Good breakfast, he said, should fit in the toaster. Toast smiled. Bagel blinked. Porridge bubbled. Willa looked at the toaster slots. Then she looked down at herself. Toast went first. Toast knew exactly what to do. He walked to the front of the class, gave a cheerful little wave, and climbed into the toaster slot. Professor Pop pushed the lever. Click. Up popped toast, golden and warm. Excellent, said Professor Pop. Everyone clapped. Toast looked very pleased with himself. Then it was Willa's turn. She held her notebook close and stepped forward. Professor Pop smiled his teacher smile and pointed to the toaster. Willa looked at the thin slot. The slot looked back at Willa. She turned a little to the left, then a little to the right. Nope. She did not fit. Not even close. Professor Pop frowned. He said. Maybe sideways. He tried turning Willa gently. Then he tried nudging her closer. Willa's syrup pockets squeezed. Her crispy edges bent. Her thoughts felt all crumpled up. Please, stop. You're squishing my thinking. Bagel covered his eyes. Porridge splashed in panic. Professor Pop stepped back at once. He did not want to hurt Willa. He only knew toaster tests. Professor Pop looked at his clipboard. Then he looked at Willa. Then he looked at the toaster. How can I tell if you are good breakfast? He asked. If you do not fit the test. Willa looked down at her golden squares. Some held syrup. Some held berries. Some held crumbs from old recipes. Some held tiny notes from all the times she had tried again. Then Willa lifted one finger. Maybe, she said, you need to learn how to taste me. Professor Pop went very quiet. That was a new idea. That night, Willa stayed up late. She sat at her little table under a warm lamp and made a map. She drew one arrow for the crunchy edges. She drew one arrow for the soft middle. She drew one arrow for the syrup pockets. She drew one arrow for the places where she had made mistakes, scraped off crumbs, and tried again. By bedtime, Willa was tired, but her map was ready, and so was she. The next morning, fresh, Willa brought her map to class. Professor Pop leaned close. He followed the arrows. He looked at the pockets. He looked at the notes. He looked at the places where Willa had tried again. Then Professor Pop looked under the counter. There, behind an old mixing bowl and a sleepy spoon, was a dusty waffle plate. "Oh," said Professor Pop. "What? I forgot I had this." Professor Pop placed Willa gently, careful, on the waffle plate. This time, nobody pushed. Nobody squeezed. Nobody tried to make Willa fit the toaster. Professor Pop followed the map. He noticed the crunchy edges. He noticed the soft middle. He noticed the syrup pockets and the berries tucked inside. Then he smiled. He said, "You were ready." Willa held her breath. I was using the wrong tool. Willa smiled so wide that one blueberry nearly rolled out. After that day, the Academy of Breakfast changed. The toaster stayed. Toast still needed it. But the classroom added other tools, too. A bowl for porridge, a round plate for bagel, a waffle plate for Willa. Everyone had a way to show what they had made. Professor Pop hung Willa's map on the wall. Then the whole class gathered around the breakfast table. Toast was toast. Bagel was bagel. Porridge was porridge. Willa was waffle.